Hello fellow ARK players! In this tutorial I'm going to show you why the Dododex is so important and why you should be using it. So, let's go.
Headshot.
So, I'm one of those gamers who's OCD about checking around every corner for loot crates and min-maxing character stats. If you're like that too, you're going to want to start using the Dododex. There are two major uses for the Dododex. The first use is for taming creatures. The Dododex will tell you how long it will take to tame something, how much food or kibble you'll need, and how many narcotics you'll go through. The second major use is for breeding. The Dododex will show you if your creature's stats are awesome or not. That way, you can make an informed decision about which creatures you should breed, and which ones you'd probably rather not waste your time on. So, let's take a look at how the Dododex actually works. First, we'll talk about the stat calculator. The stat calculator is primarily used for breeding purposes. This is the calculator that will tell you if your creature is high-end or low-end for its level. Keep in mind that the stat calculator is only accurate before you put any points into a creature, so you'd want to use this right after taming something, or once a bred creature is finished maturing. So let's take a look at this Utyrannus, for example. To find out if this Utyrannus' stats are decent, we'll need to whip out the Dododex stat calculator. To get to the stat calculator, go to dododex.com, then Tools, and select the stat calculator from there. Next, we're going to search for Utyrannus, and then plug in its level. Then, all we have to do is plug in all of the Utyrannus' stats. So this particular Utyrannus is good on health and food, low on stamina and oxygen, but has awesome weight capacity and melee damage. Overall, this is a pretty badass Utyrannus. If we were going to try and breed this one, we would hope that the offspring got its weight and melee damage. If the offspring had this Utyrannus' health, that wouldn't be so bad either. At the bottom, right here, it will tell you how many points were wasted. In this case, very low, which is awesome. If we scroll down a little bit, we can actually see how the points are distributed on this spider web graph. Judging by the graph, this particular Utyrannus is pretty much maxed out for melee damage, which means that finding another level 920 Utyrannus with this high of melee damage would be very unlikely. One quick thing I would like to mention for organization's sake is to catalog this information on the creature itself. I like to do this by going into the creature's menu and adding folders. In this case, the Utyrannus has a high amount of health, so I'm going to make a folder named Health H. It also has a high amount of food, so Food H. Weight is very high, so Weight VH, and Melee VH. Now I can quickly figure out how good this dino's stats are without having to go through the stat calculator a second time. Remember, just because two creatures are the same level does not mean they have the same stats. That's why this is so important. The only exception to this rule is if you bred twins or triplets, in which case they will have the exact same stats. For important dinos like Rexes, Utyrannuses, and Theriznosaurs, I always check their stats after taming them, just to see how good they really are, especially if I plan on breeding them. Alright, so that's the stat calculator. Now we're going to talk about the Taming Calculator. To use the Taming Calculator, simply type in the dino you're looking for into the main search bar near the top of the screen. Let's say you're playing on an official server and you found a level 150 Theriznosaur, but it's early in the game and you're not sure what it's going to take to actually tame it. So we're going to take a look at the Dododex Taming Calculator. If you're playing on a server that has custom modifiers for taming and consumption, you can plug those numbers in these boxes and the results will adjust for that. The first thing you'll see are all the foods that the Therizinosaur finds acceptable. At the top of this list is the most effective, which is exceptional kibble, and at the bottom of the list is the least effective, berries. It's going to tell you how much food you'll need, how long it's going to take, how many narcotics, narcoberries, or biotoxin you'll go through trying to keep it sedated, and the taming effectiveness you'll achieve at the end. Pretty awesome, right? If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see what knockout methods will work, and how much of each knockout method you'll need to perform before the Therizinosaur gets knocked out. It'll also tell you what chance you'll have of accidentally killing it with each method. Keep in mind, all of these numbers adjust based on what level you plug into the creature's level at the top. These numbers are just for a level 150 Therizinosaur. If you scroll down more, you'll see the dino's expected base stats, instructions on how to make the kibble, what you'll need to make the saddle, a community forum for trading information, and this next part is really good to know. Gathering efficiency rates. Next is breeding information, a list of dinos that can carry it, what structures it can damage, which traps work on it, and what type of doorways it can fit through. So, lots of amazing information. Another extremely useful tool in the Dododex is the admin commands calculator. You can search for a particular admin command that you're looking for, or you can go into the dinos or items section. In the dino admin command calculator, you can actually configure how far the spawning creature will appear in front of you, their level, and if you want them to spawn in already tamed or not. If you're looking for a dino from a specific map, you can go through the different tabs here. In the items admin command calculator, you've got a bunch of custom options you can configure as well, like how many of a specific item you want, the quality level, and if you want it to be a blueprint or an actual item. And it even has a section for Xbox IDs. I've got a tutorial on how to actually use admin commands, so if you're interested in how to do that, you can click on the recommended video at the end of this tutorial. The last thing to go over on here is the Torpor Timer. If you're unfamiliar with how quickly dinos wake up after being knocked out, you may want to use this. Some dinos wake up extremely fast after knocking them out, and others take forever before they wake up. So how this works is once you've knocked out a dino, you would open its inventory and look at its torpidity stat. You would take that number and plug it in here and then hit start timer. You can set an alert so you'll know when it's about to wake up so you can trank the dino some more. This isn't something I'd use personally, but if you're new to ARK, you may find some value in it. It doesn't matter if you're new to ARK or a veteran. The Dododex is an extremely powerful platform with so many different tools for you to use to make your time in ARK more fruitful. The only other platform that I can think of that is as helpful as the Dododex is ARK.gamepedia.com. Between these two platforms, you're able to find out pretty much anything you ever wanted to know about ARK. So if you're new and not sure how to do something, you'll find the answer on the Dododex or on ARK.gamepedia.com. I'll leave the links in the description of this video so you can check both these platforms out. Well, hopefully you can see the utility in the Dododex. I've got over 3,000 hours in ARK, and I use this all the time, mostly for breeding and min-maxing stats, as well as checking the stats of newly tamed creatures to see if they're worth breeding. And if you don't want to keep alt-tabbing in and out of the game to use the Dododex, they do have an app that works extremely well on your phone. If you enjoyed this video or got some value out of it, a thumbs up would be very much appreciated. And if you like the content I'm putting out on a regular basis and want to help support me and the Havoc Gaming channel, a subscription would be amazing. That helps me know I'm on the right track. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the Dododex, and Godspeed.